With the Work Smart, Work Safe policy now in effect, added to the 10 p.m. curfew orders, we expect to see increased traffic on our roads. That's why it is so important that we continue to practice safe road usage. It involves being courteous to all road users, pedestrians, operators of motor vehicles, motorbikes, bicycles, and load-bearing animals. Let's reduce our speed or the urge to jaywalk. Just as how wearing a mask, standing 6 feet apart from each other, and sanitizing our hands regularly have become a part of our daily routine, let's make road safety our priority. The life we save could be our own. Our Jamaica Magazine program starts right now.
You've asked for it, and now it's here. The Jamaica Information Service has updated its mobile app. It's easier to navigate, loads even faster than before, talking about top speed, operates seamlessly across platforms, and we're a creative bunch, so it's much easier on the eyes. Now you have quick and easy access to news stories, television and radio features, and a variety of photos right at your fingertips. And you'll get push notifications when new content is uploaded. Download the app on your Apple and Android devices now and get news you can use. Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica on the go.
Here's some timely information just for you.
From the very beginning, our focus has been on protecting the health and safety of all of our citizens, here and abroad. Members of the Senate will recall that when our borders were closed, there was a mad rush to find over 5,000 Jamaicans who would have returned home in the last couple of days before that closure. That experience forced the government to put in place procedures and a system that will allow us to manage in a controlled way the return of our citizens, as well as the entry of non-nationals. The measures allow the Ministry of Health and Wellness to monitor for the period of 14 days and longer if necessary, all returning residents. The 14-day period is consistent with the internal and international standards and best practices as it relates to the COVID incubation period. To manage this process, we launched a website and app dubbed Jam COVID, hosted by the Office of the Prime Minister, which facilitates an application process which brings together critical information for PICA and the Ministry of Health that allow a risk assessment to be done before travel is approved. It also allows the tracking of persons during their quarantine period, regardless of where they are under quarantine. This system has now been introduced through visitjamaica.com as well, which allows non-residents to apply there. The process and the questions for residents and non-residents is the same, and although there are two separate portals, the information is housed and the risk assessment done in the same place. Though they have been acknowledged in another place by the PM, I wish to acknowledge the Amber Group who have donated to the people of Jamaica their time and skills to build this system, free of cost. It is also important that I acknowledge the team at Untitled BPO who have provided free of cost to the people of Jamaica so far, the call center support that guides people through the process. As of today, we have managed 19,312 applications from residents through the Jam COVID portal, and just over 2,700 non-residents through the Visit Jamaica portal. As at the close of business yesterday, 6,898 persons had returned to Jamaica and been landed since the start of the controlled re-entry program. We have 13,846 persons approved for travel in the Jam COVID system and 976 persons who have registered but not yet completed the application process. Important to note, there have been foreign nationals who we've actually rejected for travel based on the risk assessment by the Ministry of Health. The assessment for Jamaicans determines the appropriate quarantine arrangements as opposed to whether they can travel. Someone seeking entry goes to the portal. Residents go to Jam COVID and non-residents, as I mentioned, goes to the Visit Jamaica website. They fill out their application with ask questions, which would be asked on the C5 form when entering Jamaica normally, and ask questions related to your exposure and current health condition as required by the Ministry of Health. Questions related to suitability for home quarantine are also asked. When persons have completed the process, their applications are reviewed by PICA and the Ministry of Health for approval. When approved, they are issued a certificate of approval digitally. This certificate is mandatory for persons to check in on flights coming to Jamaica. The process at our ports of entry, sea or air, is the same for all persons entering Jamaica, resident or non-resident, except for persons coming from countries which have been designated as a part of the travel bubble. The countries in this bubble are countries that the Ministry of Health and Wellness have assessed to cause very little risk, as they have little to no spread and generally very low number of cases in their countries. You land or dock at the port, persons disembark and are greeted first by a team from the Ministry of Health and Wellness, which conducts the first health screening. At this screening, they take their temperatures and confirm the person's name and information. You then proceed to the second and more in-depth health screening before you enter the immigration hall, or on the or as a section of the immigration hall, depending on which port you look at. And you go into your more in-depth health screening, which confirms the information entered on your travel application and allows health professionals to complete risk assessment. Persons from countries outside of the travel bubble proceed to where they're sampled for testing. It is at this step where persons are registered either on their phone or with bands, are registered on the system to be tracked, and the information for their addresses is input. That team has been managed collaboratively by the JDF and JCF. We have recruited 50 youngsters who are tech savvy through the whole program to assist with this process under the supervision of the JCF and JDF, and they will earn a stipend and be beneficiaries of training modules, especially related to customer service. The Ministry of Health and Wellness will assist these youngsters every day with the provision of PPE and ensure they are wearing it correctly, and so as to limit risk. So colleagues, even in crisis, there are opportunities and we must embrace them within the new normal. Persons are asked to arrange their own transportation unless they've been listed for government quarantine. The monitoring is done at a command center set up at the Commissioner of Police's office. This is where, if there are breaches, the appropriate public health officials and police station is notified. So there is a countdown in the system, colleagues, where at the end of 14 days, unless there is a request from the Ministry of Health to extend the order because of something that would have happened, you automatically come out of the system and we cease to track that person.
How would you want to be treated if you were diagnosed with COVID-19? Not like this.
Them will talk how I'm wicked and if it dead, and they behave like I am the one that created the virus. All my friends as well that were positive, them going through even worse than what I'm going through. Persons are calling police on them as well.
Do not allow your fear of COVID-19 to rob you of your humanity. There is no need to shun or victimize persons with the disease or those on the front line.
To mistreat persons that do have it, it's not a good feeling. We don't cause this on ourselves.
We really need to cut the hate and work together as a country, as communities, to overcome.
Let us be understanding with those affected and support each other. Be kind. End the stigma.
Take a look at some car features that are built with your safety in mind.
Active safety refers to systems that helps to avoid an accident, while passive safety refers to features that minimize the injury to occupants of a motor vehicle when it is involved in a crash. These active safety systems are the steering and the braking of the motor vehicle that are operated by the driver, while the passive safety features are like the airbag and seatbelt that is activated by the vehicle itself when it is involved in a crash.
And speaking of a crash, it is important to buckle up at all times, because not only does a seatbelt save lives, but it helps to prevent lifetime and long-term injuries.
It's very important to wear the seatbelt. In case of an accident, the seatbelt will keep you from going forward.
In case of sudden impact, you don't, fly from the seat or from the vehicle, so it keeps you stabilized.
And if you don't wear the seatbelt, you can be persecuted. So it's very important to drivers to always wear a seatbelt because it saves life.
Under the Road Traffic Act, you can be fined $500 and 2 points if you are caught driving without wearing a seatbelt. The same fine applies if your vehicle is not fitted with seatbelts. And then there's a penalty of $800 for not ensuring the safety of your passengers.
Persons must remember that the seatbelts are installed in the vehicle as a safety device to minimize the injury that you might receive in the event of a collision. So persons who are wearing the seatbelt in this fashion, right, this is not the correct way. The seatbelt must be worn right across your shoulder. If the seatbelt is too high based on your height, then it can be adjusted to fit right across your shoulder. And if you are a tall person, it can also be adjusted so that it fits you as best as possible for your own safety.
Let us use these safety devices to help protect our children from death and serious injuries in road crashes.
The purpose of the headrest is to support the neck and the head. And in case of an accident, your head would be going back way.
I think where whiplash is concerned, it give you protection from that also.
It don't make your neck strain or it hurts, it just relaxable. So you're more comfortable, so you concentrate on the street more.
The headrest is sometimes mistaken for a luxury feature, but it is actually another valuable safety feature on your vehicle. The headrest or head restraint is actually to minimize or prevent a whiplash injury during a collision. It should be adjusted to the height of the driver and passenger's head, and there should be at least 2 inches between your head and the headrest.
This is the highest this particular headrest can be extended. So this will be okay. So in the event of a crash and the vehicle is stopped suddenly, on impact, the seatbelt will restrict your forward movement and the headrest will restrict the backward movement to avoid any whiplash injury. During a collision, the airbag acts as a cushion that minimizes or prevents injury.
What the airbag does is to reduce the speed of the forward movement of the occupant. The airbag is designed to inflate rapidly in moderate to severe crashes and provide protection to the occupants' bodies when they strike interior objects such as the steering wheel or a window. However, for proper protection, persons should be correctly restrained with a seat belt.
During a collision, on impact with an object at a speed as low as between 16 and 24 kilometers per hour, the airbag inflation system acts on 2 gases, sodium azide and potassium nitrate, which produces a nitrogen gas that inflates the airbag and suddenly deflates the airbag within a second on contact with the occupant.
Most vehicles carry 2 airbags to the front, one in the steering wheel and the other on the dashboard on the passenger side. But in high-end vehicles, you will find up to 8 airbags at various locations to the front, rear, and even to the sides. Airbags were designed for one use only, and therefore once it has been deployed, you must have new ones installed. Reusing airbags is a dangerous practice. You should never put a rear-facing child seat in the front seat of a car with an airbag. But make sure all children are buckled up no matter where they sit. Unbuckled children can be hurt or killed by an airbag. Do you know where the crumple zones are located on a vehicle and what's their purpose?
You know, to be honest with you, I don't know.
They're immediately front of the vehicle. Or where the passenger or the driver would be, that part would take the impact away from it.
The crumple zone on a vehicle are located to the rear and the front. In a crash, these two areas are so designed to crumple so that it minimizes the effect of the crash on the occupants and sort of preserve the cabin area that the occupants are located in.
These areas are designed to deform, hence the word crumple, upon impact, so that the force from the crash is transferred into the bodywork of the vehicle and not to the body of the occupant. The crumple zones are also designed so that damage to the cabin area of the vehicle is limited during a crash. These areas also help to slow down the crash so that the occupant's motion is contained and they are not thrown around.
This is a vehicle with a frontal damage. And if you notice the front area here, this is actually the crumple zone, which is located to the front. And the effect of this collision actually caused the entire front to crumple inward. And as you can see in the center here, this is typical of a pole impact. And this impact, this crumple, will be the same that would be seen at the rear of the vehicle if this vehicle was involved in a rear impact collision. These areas are so designed that they actually sacrifice themselves during a collision to actually secure the cabin area of the vehicle where the occupants are located. This area will for most part remain intact to minimize the effect of the collision and lessen the injury to the occupants themselves.
Buckle up when you drive. Protect your children with child and booster seats and strap them down well. Adjust your headrest and never reuse an airbag. This has been Road Scholars. Until next time, take care.
Practice good hygiene by washing your hands frequently using soap and water. Here's how you should do it while conserving water. Turn on the tap to wet your hands, then turn off the pipe. Lather your hands and the tap with soap. Turn on the tap and wash your hands, back, front, and in between fingers. Use some of the water to wash off the tap, then turn it off. Dry your hands with disposable hand towels. If you don't have running water, use a hand rub containing 62% or more alcohol. If hand sanitizers are not available, rubbing alcohol, Dettol, white rum, or household bleach will do the trick. And if all else fails, let hand washing and the handling of potable water be a two-person event. Each person will take turns pouring and washing hands with sitting water. Now is a good time to consider installing a tap on your containers to reduce the risk of water contamination. Faucets can be easily attached to drums, buckets, or 5-gallon water bottles. And to ensure that the outside of the containers are clean when recapping, disinfect it with hand rub containing alcohol that's 62% or more. The 5 R's of water conservation are also necessary to practice. Reduce water wastage by investing in water-saving devices. Reuse water at least twice before discarding. Replace leaking pipes, faucets, and other plumbing equipment. Recycle wastewater and use it for gardening, car washing, or cleaning of public spaces. And reclaim water through rainwater harvesting. We all must play our part to ensure there's water to combat the coronavirus and stave off prolonged drought.
Maintaining good health is a major priority, especially now with the continued presence of COVID-19. Keeping fit is one sure way of fortifying your body to stave off and reduce the damage caused by illness. Watch this next feature to get some inspiration.
Hi, I'm Charnette, and this is your 30-minute workout in 5 minutes. Let's go! This is a full body workout that you can easily do at home. It's for beginners, so you can start with 2 or 3 sets of each rep. And remember guys, before you start any exercise routine, check with your doctor.
As parents, we're all living through this period of uncertainty. Here are 3 tips that I believe will help you to get through the challenges. 1, control your anxieties. There's a whole lot of information out there, so it's important that you limit the amount of information that you consume. Fact check. Trust only the authentic, reliable sources. 2, ask your children what they know. Listen for their answers and clear up whatever misconceptions they have. It is important that you reassure them. And 3, validate their feelings. If your children tell you that they're scared or they're frightened, let them know that it is okay. But continue to provide that love and reassurance so they know that they will get through.
And that's how we close out Jamaica Magazine for today. If you're just catching up with us on your television, not to worry. We are available 24/7, 365 online. Watch this and other programs on our website or YouTube channel. Information to make your interaction with government more seamless is available on our social media pages. And you can catch up on all the major happenings in Jamaica through our mobile app that's smartphone compatible. On behalf of the entire team here at the GIS, I'm Adrian Atkinson, thanking you for watching.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.